On September 7, 2012, the body of Faith Hedgepeth was found by her roommate inside her apartment. She had been beaten with an empty liquor bottle and sexually assaulted. On September 6th, Faith had attended a rush event for a sorority at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, the school that she had attended. She left the event around 7:15 p.m. to continue working on a paper she was writing for one of her classes. She went to the library with her roommate, Rosario, and later texted her father between 8:30 and 9. The two roommates headed back to the apartment around 11:30, but didn't arrive until about midnight that night. They decided to go to a nightclub at Thrill, which is in downtown Chapel Hill. Security cameras cited both of the girls leaving the club around 2:06 a.m., which was the last visual recording of Hedgepeth alive. Between 3 and 3:45, there were records that she was on her phone, texting and accessing her Facebook page, but it can't be verified that she was the one that was actually using her phone. Her roommate then left the apartment around 4:15 a.m. She left the apartment assuming that Faith was sleeping in her room, but she left the door of the apartment unlocked. The roommate returned back to the apartment around 11 a.m. the next day to find her roommate wrapped in a quilt and bloodied, laying on the floor right next to her bed. Rosario's former boyfriend, Jones, was a prime suspect almost immediately in the investigation due to his jealousy of Hedgepeth and the influence that she had on her roommate. He had previously been violent towards Rosario, and she eventually got a restraining order towards him. He also posted a message on Twitter asking for forgiveness for what he was about to do, and he sent the same message to an acquaintance of his on the night before the murder. The next day, he repented his sins to God on the day of the murder, also on his Twitter account. However, DNA found at the scene did not belong to him, nor did it belong to anyone at the nightclub that the girls had attended the night before. Also found next to Faith's body was a note, presumably by the killer. There was also a voicemail that was recorded before her murder. However, it's unclear if the voicemail was recorded at the nightclub or if she was being murdered during the voicemail was being recorded. Some speculate that you can hear a man referred to as Eric, a woman referred to as Rosie, and Faith talking in this voicemail, but there are clips in the voicemail that have music in the background. It is also important to note that the voicemail was recorded at 1:23 a.m., and based on the timeline, she would still be at the club because she was seen leaving the nightclub at around 2:06 a.m. However, experts believe that the music heard in the background does not occur in the nightclub because there are no other sounds in the voicemail like people talking or bass or synthesizers. Here is a small piece of the recording with the music in the background. If you want to listen to the entire recording, I will link it in the description box below. Chapel Hill police believe that the murderer was someone close to Faith as opposed to a crime of opportunity. 4 years later, a DNA testing company in Virginia prepared an image of the suspect based on the genetic phenotype of the DNA found at the crime scene. Ultimately, there was an award of $29,000 given to anyone with vital information leading to an arrest, but the results yielded nothing further to the case. The police are asking that if anybody has any information pertaining to the case of Faith, to please contact Crime Stoppers.